This is one of those games where I would not be surprised if Wildcard, every 2 minutes, we see a support show up mid. Set up, really deep ward that Infinity were able to place. Saw both Boris and Devi walking over, so they know it's a full 5. And Yannick, does he stick around? Will gets the bounty, and again, doesn't want to skill uplift. Will eat a ton of damage and doesn't make it. Wow.
Yeah, maybe having a better chance of holding his own in the last hit war, even if it does mean he doesn't have that pressure. As speaking of pressure, that is a lot being thrown out onto Frank right at the very start of the lane, and trying to punish him while he doesn't have any points up in the Kraken shell. It's not enough to get the kill, but well, you like to see this from Boris, right? Instead of the Riki just being passive until he hits his shard timing, he's going to try to use the Blink Strike as best as he can. We're good to go. Oh,
Love to see it, but yeah, look at that.
Devi. He's able to fall back for now, but...
Oh, no.
Oh. Well, he was able to fall back, and then he just kind of walks back up the lane for a second, and Prada takes him down. Soul Rip, only level 1, but it does enough damage.
Yeah, and he's got a 9 stick, just didn't expect that much damage to come through, and the tides are about to shift. Alexo is maybe 1 or 2 range creeps away from hitting his own level 2, and he could maybe look for a return play on the Prada. It's what they're pinging out right now. But with the creep wave coming in, they also don't want to nuke it and then immediately push into this Fen. The tower's going to do that themselves, but they're looking for it, and a lot of damage.
Yeah, Prada is dropping low. Does he Soul Rip himself?
Oh, no.
He's holding, he's waiting. Well, it didn't really do what he wanted it to. So, Prada tries to play the waiting game, and it doesn't quite work out. So he does get taken down. Devi finds the kill, and now they want to get more damage onto Parker. They've got the Fade Bolt, but wasn't really going to let them get a kill. So Alexo decides to save his mana. Prada returns to the lane, and Wildcard were able to get one over on their opponents there.
And they still want to make an aggressive play, but Parker's got a 7 stick and a Fairy Fire, so could end up being quite the bait with the Soul Rip also there. And I think instead we're just going to be a little bit more chill, even though wasted Celestial Hammer, Parker just able to narrowly walk away off.
Pops the stun, walks away. Meanwhile, back over in the bottom lane, we do see Frank now getting multiple points up in the Kraken shell, so the initial harassment onto him that really kind of dropped his health low, not going to be quite as feasible anymore. Frank obviously doesn't have much aggressive potential with no point in the gush, but he just wants to sit in this lane, find his farm. If you can't push the Terrorblade out, whatever. Just get what you can, get your levels, and be okay with that. Alexo, though, get himself a little bit too far forward in that top lane, really up at this sort of north side tree line, and, well, Devi couldn't really help him because Devi had been pushed all the way back to his tower. While this is going on, talked about Frank sort of trying to stabilize in the lane. This is why hold on. Top lane, Parker, getting into a little bit of trouble. Dropped low, forced into the trees. Can they get vision on him? Alexo wants it, and he's got the Fade Bolt. He just needs to make a connection with the vision, but they're not going to see it in time. Genic now back into the lane, or not back into the lane. He actually rotates over, but he's not going to be able to catch anyone either. But that is kind of leading into the point I was going to make. If the Tidehunter is stable, if he can just sit there and soak up experience, get his levels, well, the Tiny's going to move.
No, and not just the Tiny moving, I think we should also probably see, as we are, the Riki move ever so slightly, but Frank's got exactly what he wants. Just some nice creep pulls, just using the damage walk and abusing it. Not the most aggressive Tide we've seen, no points up in Gush, but hey, if it works, it works, and they run out of damage from Wildcard. Just maybe knowing the matchup a little bit deeper. And sure, this has resulted in Yuma being pretty ridiculously farmed, but Frank's right there behind him. He really hasn't been able to shut up the Tide any further.
Making an attempt onto Alexo in the top lane. Parker did not initially have enough mana for the Stormhammer, so they did have to delay the push a little bit, but they get in there now. They're looking for some body blocks onto Devi as well, because they know he already used the hammer. But he's sitting on a 12 charge wand. He should be able to get away. Parker, though, doesn't want to let him go. He sets up with the stun. Prada comes in with the level 2 Soul Rip. They get the kill. Exantic is here. What can he get? Genic is dropping low to the trample. Doesn't have enough mana for the toss. It looks like he's just going to be the sacrifice at this point, but Prada walks away, and so does Parker.
If the escape happens and you rotate at, unfortunately, the worst time because Leo Style now gets a free regen rune, but it could be worse. And you get at least some gold, some XP. Xanthan gets his bottle refilled as well by Devi, who TP's back to the tower, so could be worse. As Leo Style now just forces in the mid wave with the cart. He's looking to pop his regen rune and then get some more damage on this tier 1 mid, even though he is getting set up on right now. But it looks like WildCard don't want to pull that trigger. They want to instead be a little bit more patient, even though I feel like they really could go for a smoke pretty soon here and then try to shut down that Shadow Fiend. Because now, it looks like it's to use this regen rune in the triangle instead, and it's the farm for free.
Yep, he's just going to clear out those camps. Meanwhile, up top, Devi is trying to get a little aggressive onto Parker here, but that's not doable by himself. At the same time, on the other side, they've caught Yuma. They're going to hit him up with the Avalanche. Raises a little bit out of order, but the damage is still there, but Yuma does pop a point into the Sunder. Here comes the Ravage, though. Still trying to track him down, but Xanthan charging his way in, getting onto Leo Style, going to hit him up with the Pulverize. That's enough to get the kill. The Death Requiem, though, is still putting Yuma in an awkward spot, but he should be able to walk his way out of this one, and they just, I guess, didn't expect him to scale up his ult, and a lot of the times the Terrorblade is very much loath to do so, but it's the difference between life and death. He'll put the point in it.
Yeah, and that's why you save a point. That's why you don't get greedy. I think as well, missing the raise from the Shadow Fiend just interrupted a lot of that damage, and then it ended up being way less closer than it probably should have been. But it's plays like that you can start snowballing, and especially catch Leo Style right now, force him into the die, TP die. That's pretty darn awful for him. But that's also where maybe we see Leo Style try to stabilize this game a little bit. He's got max level raises now. He farms the jungle pretty damn fast. Fighting for the rune right now, and let's see it. It's not even here.
Okay, he's going to go for the raises into the Requiem. Not going to get it off, though. Alexo cancels the channel. So now Leo has to try to get away, but the charge is going to catch him. There's going to be the Pulverize again. And he doesn't have any backup. He's just got to try for the Requiem, pop in the raises. It's going to be enough damage, though, as Xanthan will fall. So Leo Style is able to win that fight. The problem is, it does come at a cost. Devi jumps in onto Parker in the top lane. Didn't really have any backup, but DD rune picked up for him this time, so he's got a little bit more to work with if he does want to take another engagement. Meanwhile, back up top, they're going to try for it. There's going to be the charge. Do they have the Pulverize? Yes, they do. So they are going to hit up Parker, but the TPs are coming in. The stun is there. The God Strength will be deployed, and Leo Style is in. Raise number 1. That was the max range one, so he really can't hit up anymore, but they can focus themselves onto Xanthan. That's a nice silence in from Boris, though, and Xanthan's going to try to hold his ground. Maybe that wasn't the best choice, all things considered. He might have been able to get away, but well, too late now. Gets taken down. Boris falls as well. Double kill for Leo Style, and the aggression.
Make those same responses as well, as he definitely can, but Infinity have pulled ahead a little bit here. As Regen Rune, Battle in the River, Genic, it looks like he's dead.
Able to get themselves a pretty free one there, so Xanthan making up for missing once or twice by finding that pick, but still feels like they're going to need a little bit more at that point. The support kills are great, but you see Xanthan a little bit lower on the net worth chart than you would like him to be right now.
Yeah, we see is Primal Beast. Item build, always the same. BKB. Who would have thought? But they
Dagger
smoke
for
and they
Leo.
head towards bottom. The Tide is a big boy. That's a long kill, but if you get him far enough off the wave, I guess they're saying that with the meta committed from Yuma, that might be a kill, but they feel like something's up here.
TPs are coming, though. They need to get this kill quick. They get the silence down. The Pulverize will be there as well. Will there be a Ravage? Yes, there will, because Leo Style gets in, drops down the Requiem, but they don't kill off Yuma. Yuma's able to get off the Sunder, and now this is just going to turn that fight as the game will be resumed, and Prada will end up dying. Does Genic get away, though? Xanthan has 2 seconds for charge. And he's going to go for it, pushing his way forward. Genic gets hit. He does have the Avalanche. Okay. I mean, he uses it, but it's way too late there, and Genic gets taken down. Now over on the other side, Parker's going to die too. Alexo, well, solo kills him. He does have to suicide for it, but everybody on the wildcard side are currently hanging out top. looking to just turn this into a tower trade-off, and it really should just be a trade. Yuma's going to take the tier 1 top. A couple of heroes on the Infinity side will take the tier 1 bottom. What is going on towards mid? Gennik's been spotted. He's able to try and get away from the first attempt, but Alexo comes into the Fade Bolt, and now things get concerning. 1-for-1 tower trade, whatever. You're probably okay with that. But you lose a hero, and you could potentially lose your tier 1 tower mid. That's where things get kind of awkward, so they're going to try to hold this, but Prada just runs into too many heroes. Xantic takes him down. Frank, he's got enough mana for the Ravage now, but there's no one to back him up, so if he does pop it, it's really not going to do him much good. But here comes Leo Style. They're going to rotate him in. They're looking to turn onto a Xantic. They do get the kill, but Alexo steals the Ravage. Not going to have an immediate opportunity to use it, but he'll hold that in his back pocket. And I think, yeah, this ward back here, maybe just spotting out that Xantic was kind of rotating his way over, so even if he doesn't see Boris, you can probably guess what's coming.
Yeah, and not just that, but for Infinity, Gennik incredibly close to his Blink Dagger right now, just stacking his triangle for his team, making sure that Parker will be pleased. Stack quota, but yeah, bottom. There you go. There's the setup. It's just 2 heroes, but it's enough, and sure, buys out both of his BKB components, doesn't have it completed, but that's where the Sleeping Dart, it just works, and he's not done yet. I don't know if they have enough damage for Tiny, and yeah, it doesn't seem like it, but backup's on its way.
I might want to clear out of here. That is a very fast Tidehunter at the last couple seconds of a Haste Rune, but he is going to be able to avoid that fight. On the other side, though, Parker, well, he's been caught. And this strategy, this is not working out anymore. Parker can't just be left by himself because he isn't surviving. They've killed him 3 times now.
Yeah, and then back bottom. This time, though, Gennik already low is a much easier pick. Did finish off his Blink Dagger, but Infinity are just leaving themselves a little bit too wide open.
He goes in, he's probably got someone behind him, but well, for now they're able to avoid it. A little bit of a vision war there as Alexo steals the Avalanche, throws it out. Look at the sound as well. That leads into the Pulverize, and Gennik is going to get taken down. And at this point, Infinity, I think you start looking for the team fight, not just Wildcard are starting to kind of go looking for them to a certain extent. Maybe not looking for the fight, but trying to maintain some degree of vision over their opponents. But Prada able to push in. They pop the dust. The Tricks of the Trade, though, is going to get Boris away initially, but not long term. He is still in some trouble. They did throw down the smoke screens, though, so there was no Requiem. The BKB wasn't popped here either. This fight's getting a little bit weird. Prada and Gennik have already gone down, but now Leo Style jumps in. There's going to be the Requiem. It did hit onto Yuma, but he was already backing away, so they haven't canceled out that Sunder threat. That was not the best Sunder, though. In fact, that was a terrible Sunder, all things considered. Yuma goes down, and now they're in trouble. Xantic doesn't have his BKB anymore, so he's stunned up and taken down, and I don't really know what went down there. Yuma maybe lost track of his own levels of health, or what, but they're going to be able to clean this up. Should be a full 5-mana wipe, unless Divide does some dancing. And he's going to get out. Yeah, they don't have any means to cancel it, so it's only 4 dead instead of 5, but still a lost fight, still a tower taken, and not the greatest decisions in the midst of that engagement.
Yeah, just got, I think, a little bit scared there. And I think, like you said, lost HP on the Sunder. It was not pretty. It was not good.
You don't have to push into Aegis. That means this next fight is going to be a little bit closer to balanced, but you still have to deal with the BKBs. You have to deal with the fact that Parker got a Blink Dagger up, so Blink Stun, God Strength is going to be right in your face, and here comes the fight. They're going to jump in onto Boris first, looking for that pickoff again. He did get off the smoke screen, but at that time it doesn't really matter.
Yep, too quick. And now, Roche is maybe not the most immediate objective that they're going to want. They're still looking for picks and Devi. Well, he's not looking for him. He's looking for the backline, and he found Alexo. Parker just waited for the jump. The patience pays off. The Rubik has to show to just do anything for Devi. Raises on point as well, and now, well, they are going to swing for Roche.
Yep. This time around, there's not a hell of a lot that Wildcard can do to stop it. In fact, you see Yuma TP himself back to mid, just kind of recognizing Yeah, you know, we messed up. We gotta let this one go. Roshan taken. Aegis. Anybody? There you go. The Leo style will take it. They left it on the ground for a few seconds, but the reason why is because Parker is looking for the fight. They spotted Xantic. They're going to stun up the Primal Beast multiple times. Now the toss. The BKB comes in, but by this point, I don't know about this one. The reinforcements are rushing their way over. They will be here in time to make sure Xantic doesn't die, but they weren't really able to mount any sort of effective comeback here, and now Parker just goes back in, blinks forward, stuns Alexo. They'll take him down, and well, I guess if you're wildcard, you effectively trade Xantic for the Rubik, as Alexo dies instead, but they TP'd a lot of heroes over to try and make that defense. So now, Infinity kind of know wherever we want to go on the map, we will have the advantage.
Yeah, it's where I think Yuma needs to make a break towards top. He needs this BKB, so that way he can actually show his face on the same side of the map as that Tidehunter, but they're just not letting him farm. And again, initiation, they go in. He's going to try to save him, and they will give him the space and the respect, but okay, stuns the Sven, but it doesn't matter. The Tide.
There's the Ravage. That's perfect. That is the absolute textbook definition of how you kite that out. They avoid the Sunder, they avoid the Solar Guardian, and I mean, at that point, if you're wildcard, there isn't anything more to do. That was your best plan, and couldn't make it work. Well, back over to Yuma. They're smoking up here, but this is still going to cut into his farming time, and he still doesn't have BKB, so this is a fight that they now really have to win, otherwise they're going to end up wasting quite a bit of time. And, well, Xantic is already forced to charge out of the fight. Yuma's trying to get in, though, and they are hitting up Genic, but they haven't killed him off yet. They will get the telekinesis, and that should be enough. So they get the tiny, but if they go much further forward, they could be running into a little bit of a trap, and there's going to be the play. Yuma in some trouble. Solar Guardian will not be enough to save him. They really should have just been happy with the one, and now Devi is forced into this fight. The Solar Guardian still comes through, but he's able to walk away. He's getting underneath the tower, but that's only because they're chasing an easier target in Alexo.
Yeah, and okay. Blinks behind the tower. And during all this, it's unfortunate. I think this tower might die before backdoor comes back in, just barely, and okay, backdoor does come through. But something that Infinity need to be a little bit better at is just making sure these creep waves survive long enough. This is the second time that Wildcard, despite taking heavy casualties, are able to get onto those creep waves just a little bit quicker than I think Infinity are happy with, as, well, this time around Boris might not make it out. Just surrounded all sides, all 5 heroes, but the more problematic aspect of that last team fight is that was a cheap kill onto Yuma. They still have Ravage. They're going to have the Requiem up in 50 along with all their BKBs. At least their other waves are also pushing in, and it looks like Yuma should get out of top, but 10 seconds on his TP. This would be a real sad way to die, and the smoke will break.
They know.
Oh, no.
1 second left. Do they spot him? Yes, they do. And now Yuma, well, buy your last component. Yeah. He will die, but the BKB is finally acquired.
Still, just unfortunate. What a timing on the TP. And then they got what they wanted, so they just go immediately out onto the other waves, as well as no better way for Leostar to reveal that Arcane Blink.
You know you can, in theory, take these fights. Just going to come down to the execution and maybe a pick onto Parker. Boris is thinking about it. It's going to be the dart. Do they rush TPs over? Can they bring anyone? There's going to be the telekinesis, but yeah, the TP comes in and Xantic says, I do not want to be here. Charges away, TP's out. They might have to leave Alexo behind, but yeah, at least you don't lose a core. Then again, ET, if Xantic didn't want to be in that fight, they didn't have to make that initiation in the first place.
Yeah, they're still getting the short end of the stick. At least they got God Strength, and that was something that Parker consciously chose to do to make that kill onto the Rubik a little bit faster, but that's where these kills on the side lanes just shouldn't be allowed, and Devi, he needs help, the SF is coming, he needs a Force Staff, he needs a friend, but I don't know. The Axshard is doing a good job of delaying this kill out, but can they make a play into Leo? Nice sleep dart. With the Scotty, he might be trapped.
He's not able to get out. The Avalanche can't protect him, so okay. Yuma finally starting to feel a bit more confident, pushing his way forward. Not sure they'll see Genic, but over on the other side, they did get vision on Prada. The Undying is in a little bit of trouble, but on the back line, there's going to be the jump in. Parker tries to get the kill by himself, but he needs help. There's going to be Frank, though, coming in. Ravage deployed, hitting up onto 3. Alexo dropping low, not dead yet, though, but they will be able to take him down. They will be able to get to Vi as well, but this fight's getting complicated. Parker is now getting hit up by Yuma. I don't think he makes it out of this one. He's trying with the armor and the move speed, but it won't be enough, so they are getting to that point where the Terrorblade's just unbelievably strong, or getting to that point as... Oh, there's Sal. Pops the BKB, and Xantic is going to really get punished for that one. There's that Arcane Blink really coming into effect. He can solo ult.
Maybe they can find a pick, but also just keep it away from those big avenues. Otherwise, it most likely does just get dewarded. But now, it's a matter of who's set up better for Roche. Infinity, with all this control, certainly feel like they're the one in the driver's seat as Alexo. Toss back. Well, can't do much about that, but he'll have to buy back if he wants to fight for this Roche.
40 seconds on his respawn if he doesn't buy back. Do they want to do it? Could they even get there in time at this point? It's feeling like the answer to that question is no. Really on both counts.
And I do wonder who takes the Ag Shard. Probably should be the Shadow Fiend, but Parker's is also quite good, and I think... Okay, yeah, Parker just eats it. At least it looked like he wanted it, you know. Everybody wants the Ag Shard, but says, no, you have to buy your own. I get mine for free. I'm Parker.
If he does want the full thing for the Requiem, I suppose he could just blink in for the Requiem and then maybe E-Blade whoever's alive afterwards. Just bump up your raise damage, but the fact remains, it is not just a damage item, it is also something that's gonna mess with the TB, right? If you hit him with the E-Blade and take away his ability to right-click for a few seconds, it could open up a window as Boris, yeah, tries to throw down the smoke screen to slow it up, but Yannick is faster on the draw, gets the blink, gets the toss back, and there's no buyback on that Ricky, so they're gonna push for a full lane of racks here.
Yeah, Genic was just way too quick with it, and you see the extremely aggressive sentry placement there, but now you don't have to deal with the annoyance that Ricky would cause and get to use the tail end of your God Strength here. It is on CD now, so might force Parker to be slightly more defensive, but at the same time, everybody's back in the base. They haven't seen Yuma just yet, but once they know he's in there, then they get to break away towards mid and bottom, and oh, Genic again!
They got the toss back. That's Alexo taken down. He has his buyback, though, and he will pop it immediately. Now Yuma, force-staffed onto the front line. Trying to get onto Prada. Prada, though, able to use the totem to force himself back. It's going to be a little bit of a reset. There was a buyback from the Tiny as well, but Genic had the TP to the outpost in the north, so he's walking his ass down here, but he's going to be able to regroup. Rejoins his team. Wildcard, this is very risky to go for the smoke, but they're hoping to catch this lineup sort of spread out, and if they have the damage, these are good targets, but can they actually find the kills? They're going to try. They've got the break onto the Tidehunter, so he is not really all that tanky, but they still can't kill him. There's going to be the Ravage hitting onto everyone other than Yuma, but Frank does still go down, but now Parker's into the fight. Requiem, channeled out, going to connect onto multiple heroes. They're dropping everybody, and that fight is just straight up done.
Oh, it's too much damage, and even though the Ravage is wasted, it still is enough to force the supports into a pretty awful position as Alexo, well, no talks back target, but Parker's coming as well, and I think with this, I think we're running out of game here. Yeah, the all chat, it's powerful.
Oh, the all chat combined with the BKB just to make sure he chases Alexo. Just absolutely insane, but they get the kill. They stagger the respawns. Xantic is in now, but he had to pop his BKB as well, so the defense just doesn't have any teeth to it. It's a paper tiger here for Wildcard, and they could just go for it, right? 35 seconds for the TB, and they're starting to realize, hey, there's no buyback here. There will be in just a little bit, though. 170 gold, but they need to do something. They need to either get some gold or buy more time, but look at Genic just acting as the distraction. Leo style, okay, gonna push in. They get the kill on the Boris. Now they're gonna get Xantic, and this is what they couldn't afford. They wanted to buy time, but that's really not buying time. That's just having heroes die in very awkward positions. And at this point, I mean, even if the TB comes back up, is it gonna be enough? Because he'll be fighting basically alone. Devi is desperately trying to get back into the fountain, and he does manage to make it. But there's going to be the tossback. Yuma's in trouble, has to activate his BKB. His meta is still on cooldown, though, for 5 more seconds, and the Ancient's been exposed. The tier 4s have gone down. Can they close this out? Infinity walking that knife's edge right now. They want to try and find further picks, but they can't go far enough forward, otherwise they give up their opportunity to... Oh my god, Genic. Gets off the Avalanche, gets off the toss, they get off the Requiem, Yuma's dropped down, Yuma's taken out, and that's it. It's done. I don't think that they can hold without that Terrorblade. They don't even get the Parker kill either. The Ancient is still dropping, and well, credit to Wildcard. They refuse to give in until the last second, but there's just not enough. Frank blinks into the fountain. He'll drop down the Ravage. They take Alexo out, and that's going to be it.
Oh, and they don't want it. They don't want to call it stone. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. After getting Fountain farmed for what feels like a full minute, the longest minute for Wildcard, they bow out of BTS Pro Series to honestly a really clean, a really nice 2-0 from Infinity, but